Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. I've got some exciting news today, some of it personal, some of it, all about electric vehicles, some news on the Maverick, and, when I talk about electric vehicles, that means we'll be talking about the F-150 Lightning, reservations, obviously. Ford's not taking anymore, so we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about how people will be filling out their orders. That means you're going to be picking the equipment and knowing the cost of, or the price of the options on the Lightning. We'll also be talking a little bit about the Mach E, because, I'm asking the question here. Are the batteries bigger? Because we're getting extra range. But the batteries aren't bigger. That's a big nope. But, do we get more range? Yep, that's a big yep. So we'll be talking about that, what it means, what's going on. Then we'll be talking about the Maverick, so Maverick Tremor. We'll be talking about some off-road possibilities for the Maverick. As you know, if you follow the channel, I do like the off-road. Obviously, the family now has a second Bronco. So second Bronco is in. I'll have some news on that and what it meant for shipping and whatnot. So that'll be the personal news at the end of the show. Also, I got a little toy for off-roading to be able to take you all a little bit more in-depth off-roading, and really what I bought does summarize how I review vehicles. I look at all the pros, all the cons, realizing that the pros and the cons, it's very personal. So I prefer to really just talk about, data and feedback. So we'll touch lightly on all of this, and some of this will turn into more at-length shows coming up. So I'm just going to put the pedal to the metal. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Welcome to the show. Please hit that like button early on and subscribe because it does help the channel grow. And we actually have an excellent community of people that know actually quite a bit. So it's pretty fun because if you read the comment section often, you'll learn some awesome stuff in the comment section. I know I get a big kick out of reading the comment section and answering people. So let's jump right in and start with the F-150 Lightning. What's going on that's really interesting here is that we've got the electric pickup on the way, and you don't want to be fooled on this one. First of all, don't be fooled. If you walk into a dealership right now, Ford's no longer taking reservations. And, what does this mean? Well, they could put you on a list, but likely they'll just take your name down and call you back once the banks are open again. The reservation banks. Now, the order banks are about to be open, and that's another point where you don't want to get fooled. Just because you have a reservation, you've put your $100 down, you might be thinking, hey, in January, because that's the news here, in January, the order banks are open. Great, I'm gonna get to go order my Lightning. Well, actually no. Ford's doing it in waves, meaning that, let's say out of a list of 100 clients, well, likely if they're doing it in waves and a dealer's gonna say get 15 for the year or 20, well, they'll probably call waves of 5 to 10 people. We don't know how many waves there'll be. We don't know how many people will be in each wave. That's pretty obvious. Ford Authority was talking about this. They're an excellent source of news. And they're saying that, there's no way to know that Ford's not telling anyone how many people will be in each wave. Well, what you could call the big wave, which is, Ford, Canada, and US. Well, it wouldn't matter how many people are in that wave. What matters is how many people are going to be in what you could call like the dealer wave, how many people the dealer is going to call. So I'm thinking if you're at a dealer that's going to get 20 for the year, likely they'll either do, 2 waves of 10, or maybe they'll do 4 waves of 5, but they're going to bring this in slowly. So don't expect a phone call necessarily, and definitely don't be fooled. There's solid chances you're not ordering and picking out your equipment for your Lightning in January. And that's another thing where we don't want to be fooled. Ford Authority actually said, it's possible that not all customers will receive a 2022 model. So that's a direct quote from Ford Authority. They're my favorite news source for Ford stuff. They're absolutely excellent, but I want to make sure we don't get fooled on this and make it clear. While they said it's possible not all customers will receive a 2022 model, I'd say it's guaranteed. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible that every reservation will be filled for the Lightning. And that's because we've got almost or right around 200,000 reservations of the Lightning. Ford themselves said that they expect an 80% conversion rate. It was about 65, I think, on the Bronco, but they're expecting an 80% conversion rate. And while Ford is probably going to be building somewhere around, I'd say at least 20,000 Lightnings for 2022, to absolutely at most 40,000, because we do know that by 2024, Ford's plan is to ramp it up to 80,000 units and to get to 160,000 units. It's Jim Farley himself that, revealed the plans to ramp up the F-150 Lightning that I've mentioned in previous videos, and he was talking about 160,000 units in coming years. So let's hope that that means by 2025 or 2026, when Blue Oval City is making their own batteries. So there's a whole lot more interesting news behind this, because we actually got the numbers for the Lightning. So we have better range than expected coming up on the Mach E. So there is good news on the horizon. But the Lightning, the range hasn't changed, but battery sizes are coming in a little less than the guesstimators had guessed at. And some are saying, that they're disappointed. It's less than expected. Well, there's never really anything expected. Ford didn't give numbers. Ford just gave range. And from what I can tell, the range hasn't changed, because the battery comes in for the standard range battery on the Lightning at 98 kilowatts an hour. Now that's going to give you 230 miles or 370 kilometers if you prefer. Now, the big battery, you have to know when and how you can get the extended range battery. You cannot get it on the Pro, but you can get it on the XLT, and you can option it on the Lariat, and obviously on the Platinum. That thing costs a fortune. It just comes with an extended range battery. The 131 kilowatts an hour give you 300 miles. So that's the same as on the Ford media spec sheets that I shared with you the morning after the reveal on this show. And what does 300 miles work out to? Because of course I want to take care of my all three Canadian viewers. If there's more than three, let me know. But that's 483 kilometers. Now moving right along to the interior of the Lightning. That's another area if you do get to order. Remember, we're not all going to get to order our Lightnings right up, but if you do get called to be part of that first wave of ordering in January, keep in mind that the 12-inch screen is the standard screen. Through all the promotions, we've seen that 15.5-inch extra tall and wide screen. Don't be fooled. That's the screen for the Lariat and the Platinum. The XLT doesn't even have access to that. The XLT is the 12.2 screen, and of course the Pro is also the 12.2 screen. So keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that you can get the extended range battery for the XLT. So that might be a great value. I'm going to throw it out here. I'm going to say that I think that battery is going to cost about 10,000 Canadian, because the extended range battery on a Mach E is 7,000 Canadian, but that's to bring you from 68 kilowatts to 88 kilowatts. Well, I'm thinking to go from 98 kilowatts to 131 kilowatts an hour. I think it's going to cost 10,000 Canadian, or about 7 or 8,000 US. So let's wait. We'll know for sure soon. But talking about batteries, let's get right into talking about the Mach E. Now, the Mach E, the battery size hasn't changed, and a question a lot of people ask is, hey, next year, should I wait? Next year, will the battery be bigger on, let's say, the Maverick? Or, hey, next year, will the battery be bigger on the Mustang Mach E? My answer is, you're not going to see, that's like having a different engine on a vehicle. Those are the types of things that happen when you go from, let's say, Gen 1 to Gen 2, or if you're in an F-150, Gen 232 to generation 234. I kid, but that thing's been around forever. Now, what we're getting is, with electric vehicles, is yes, batteries might get bigger, but I think as the future proceeds, what we're going to see is batteries becoming much more effective, and they might actually even get smaller. For example, stock ticker GMG, so Graphene Manufacturing, they are making an aluminum ion battery on layers of graphene that have been nano pierced. That battery, we'll start seeing smaller batteries when that comes along. But what does change with time, and could change from one year to another, is how Ford programs that battery. In other words, how they use that battery. And what's going on with the Mach E is, we've known for a while that the 68 kilowatt battery is actually 10 kilowatts bigger. And of course, the 88 kilowatt battery is rumored to be at about 98 to 100 kilowatts. But that last part of the battery, those last give or take 10 kilowatts an hour, are unusable. It's there to stay, charged, to not be used up, so that the battery doesn't freeze, so that the battery is reliable, so it doesn't crack and doesn't catch fire. So, and also in regards to charging, you don't want to really truly fully charge the battery on a regular basis. And speaking of properly charging, I will have a proper battery etiquette video coming up, because I feel that's really important to help you, have your battery last as long as possible and have it, hold its charge, give you the best autonomy possible. But just jumping right into the news, Ford with the new programming from the 2022 Mach E's, basically of the 88 kilowatt an hour is now going to be at 91 kilowatt an hour. The battery's not bigger. They're just using more of that battery because they deem it's safe. And on the smaller battery, the 68 kilowatt, well, on the 68 kilowatt, we'll be able to use 70 kilowatt an hour. So what does that really mean? Well, that means you're going to get just a little bit better autonomy out of the vehicle. So what's 2 kilowatt an hour worth? I'm thinking it's going to be worth about 7 miles. And the 3 kilowatts going from 88 to 91 kilowatts an hour, I'm expecting about 9 more miles that you're going to get out of the vehicle. And exciting news for Mach E enthusiasts, the California Route 1 has always been an eye catcher since it came out. It's the model that interested me quite a bit. But it was rear wheel drive only. And for 2022, wonderful change, they're going to offer that as an all-wheel drive. So that's pretty cool. That's hunky-dory. Now, I think we've talked about Mach E enough. We're just going to finally get to the news that we're all waiting for, and that's all in regards to the Maverick. So Ford Maverick news. Really cool. Ford's trademarked the name Tremor, Maverick Tremor. So they trademarked not just obviously Maverick and Tremor, that's already been done, but they've trademarked the two together. So Maverick Tremor is trademarked. What does this mean? Well, I'd expect that means our market should see something like the Ranger Tremor that I tested out. So if you want to go back and watch that video where I review a Tremor Ranger, because I talked a lot about what the Tremor added to it, I think we can expect that kind of treatment done to the Maverick. So you can expect something like Fox shocks, so really great off-road shocks, and they're also really great on bad city roads and bad highway roads, which I have out here. What else are we probably gonna get? Well, nicer mags, bigger tires, probably a little bit of a lift. If I recall on the Ranger Tremor that I drove, that 0.8, not quite an inch of lift was noticeable. The Ranger Tremor has, the little side plastics that stick out a little more to cover the tires that are also wider. So I had a really good look. The interior, you had the Tremor badging everywhere. You had the black front grille. So I think we'll probably see a Maverick with it's gonna follow the same tendency as the F-150 Tremor and the Ford Ranger Tremor. So probably a black, glossy grille, dark colored wheels, big mud tires. So great look, a little bit of a lift. They'll probably do up the interior to make it, special Tremor. Now on the Ranger, if we recall, it's about a 5,000 Canadian, or just under 5,000 US option. On the Maverick, what kind of pricing we'll see? Well, I expect probably $3,000 to $5,000 to kick it up to Tremor. I think it'll be worth it because the Ford Ranger Tremor was a lot of fun to drive. And if we recall the F-150 Tremor and also, the 250 Tremor, we're going to be looking at on the F-150 trail turn assist, which is great off-road. I've been using it on the Bronco quite a bit. So I think those are the type of technologies and the type of appearance that we're going to see out of a Maverick Tremor. So very cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. Now let's just jump in to the very end of this, talk about the channel's Bronco. Really, from discussions with Marie, the Cactus Gray Bronco is going to be mine. She'll be taking Bacon Bits, which, hey, Bacon Bits is the Bronco, the blue Bronco I have on the channel. She named it anyway, so I guess she's more attached to it than I am. She definitely wants the blue. Not as much of a fan of the Cactus Gray, or not a fan at all. I love the Cactus Gray on an Outer Banks because Outer Banks, as you know, black glossy grille. I love the fact that an Outer Banks comes with the sideboards. And guess what? It's a Sasquatch, so we'll be comparing off-roading, at least light to medium off-roading. I want to compare really all the differences, not just off-road, but on-road too. So stay tuned to the channel, like and subscribe so you don't miss any of those comparisons between Badlands and a Sasquatch Outer Banks, because probably on YouTube I'll be one of the people that will have driven the most in different models, because I've got basically 5,000 kilometers on the Badlands, and I'll probably be racking up the mileage quite a bit on the Outer Banks. Now this weekend I will be towing about 1,500 pounds with the Bronco, so I'll try to give you a little feedback on that and show you the channel's new off-road toy, because there's some places I just don't want to take the Bronco. If I roll that thing, it's scrapped. And well, when I'm off-road, I don't have, who has insurance for that? I'd love to know if someone has found a company that will cover you when you're off-roading, but I haven't. So I've got a little toy to take me a little deeper into the woods. Now, just before signing off, to wrap up the whole electric talk, I feel like I didn't do enough justice to the Mach E. I just want to say a huge congratulations to the team that actually made the Mach E. Big success. They'll be selling about, looks like 50,000 this year, maybe a little, right around 50,000, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but that's 50,000 for 2021. That's incredible. Ford actually plans on ramping up production in the coming years to 200,000 units. So they want to have that done for 2023. And obviously, I've talked about Blue Oval City on the channel before. The factory, you know, that site making its own batteries will really help pump out more F-150 Lightnings. So if you're watching this channel, you've got an F-150 Lightning on order, you know, don't be fooled. Don't expect to get it first year unless you ordered within the first 15 minutes of that reservation bank opening up. So if you reserved within the first max half hour, an hour, I was at an hour, and I'm definitely not year one. So I won't be getting a Lightning. Can treat ourselves to a second Bronco. I'm certainly not complaining. I want this Lightning to be done right, not just to rush it and put any old batteries into it and have to deal with, you know, reliability issues, fire, all sorts of potential problems. So we will get our Lightnings, but we're going to need to be patient. And what you can do in the meantime, well, if you're into pickups, you can probably buy an F-150. I would suggest leasing it for 3 years. And when your Lightning comes in, you'll probably have positive equity, meaning money. Your current F-150 that you buy now will probably be worth more than the amount to actually clear out the lease, which means money in your pocket. So I hope that's helpful. That covers everything for this week. So I've got to wish you a great week. I hope you all get to put the pedal to the metal, and wish you all more cars and more power. Take care.